Grand timing. I hope everybody is doing well and feeling well and having and maintaining high vibrational thoughts. It's me, Bubbles Diamond Sweet Pea, Ocean Breeze, Traveler of Life and Peace here, your Sitchin sister, or your self-love alchemist advocate, or Bubbles Diamond West if that's too long for you, which is pretty messed up because that's my spiritual name. But I digress. Anyway, today, family, I want us to talk about something deeper than strength today, deeper than motivation, deeper than discipline. We're talking about, drumroll please, mental resilience. The type that keeps your spirit steady and your purpose alive even when life gets heavy and life starts lifing to the max. And guess what? It all begins with one powerful affirmation. I view my mission as a sacred journey. One more time. I view my mission as a sacred journey. For the ones in the back, I view my mission as a sacred journey. So, the moment you start seeing your life this way, everything shifts. Challenges stop feeling like punishment and start looking like preparation. So we're going to break these down in a few sections. So section 1, resilience begins in calm, not panic. Here's a few points to think about. Panic shuts down clarity. Calm is where resilience is built. Responding versus reacting. Staying connected to your mission. Here's the thing. Real resilience isn't born out of panic. It's born out of calm. Anybody could fall apart in chaos. The world teaches us that. But when you can stay centered, breathe deeply, and respond instead of react, that's when you step into your true power. The reality is, a calm mind sees solutions. A calm mind hears intuition. A calm mind stays connected to the mission, not the momentary storm. So, yeah, we have to continue to choose power over panic and to stay calm and centered and grounded, because we can't think in chaos, right? You have to stay calm. It's like when it's an emergency and you call 911, that's the first thing they do is they ask you to remain calm, to stay calm, because you can't really think if you're feeling extreme amounts of anxiety, right? It just puts your brain in overdrive to panic more. So it's really important that we practice being calm, even in the face of adversity, even in the face of chaos or danger or just anything. It's important that we remain calm. And I'll give you an example. About 3 weeks ago now, or maybe even a month ago now, I was doing my art project, a still life, where I was drawing a wine glass, a wine bottle, and a pumpkin. And I kept reminding my 3-year-old toddler throughout the whole day, be careful, be mindful of my stuff that I'm using right here. Like, don't bump the table, don't run over here. And needless to say, he ran into the table and crashed into those items and broke the wine glass and cut himself. And I was so scared. Oh my goodness, because it's a wine glass, and wine glasses usually cut really quickly, really deeply, and really fast because they're so thin. And looking back now, I was so calm. I was so calm. I was calm because I didn't want him to worry too much, right? And also, I had to remain calm because I'm the adult here, right? Not him. And so I end up even having to call 911. And while this was very like a moment of high anxiety and stress, I still remained calm. Even though I did not like blood, even though I was really nervous and scared that he might have hit a main artery because there was just so much blood flowing out of him. But through it all, I remained really calm. So when I called 911 and everything, even prior to calling 911, I already knew what to do, right? I already knew to get him a clean towel or something to wrap around his wound and put pressure on it, right? And so by the time I called 911, I was already doing that. They told me to do it, but I was already doing it. By the time the ambulance got here, still calm, right? Even though on the inside, I was falling apart, I really was. I was like, for one, I do not like blood at all. Like, I do not like blood. I don't like any cuts. I don't like, I couldn't be a doctor or a nurse or anything like that where I have to see that kind of stuff. It's just not my cup of joe. But, looking back, I'm so glad how calm and centered I was, even though it was a very chaotic moment. And so the reality is we think better and we see so many more solutions when we're calm, and we can hear our intuition more, and we hear the voice of God more when we're calm, right? Versus being in a state of chaos. So remain calm in all situations, seriously. And you may be like, what if I'm on fire? Well, you still need to remain calm. Remain calm and what do they call that? Stop, drop, and roll calmly. Okay, so section 2. Gratitude is the grounding force. And if you're on a spiritual journey, you already know all about gratitude. You already know that you need to remain in an attitude of gratitude all the time, not just because it's Thanksgiving coming up, but because literally that's just how you have to be. You always have to be grateful and thankful for everything that you have, and even sometimes being grateful for the things you don't have. Either way, there's always something to be grateful for. And we'll take a moment right now to count out at least 5 things that all human beings should be grateful for every day. That first one being waking up in the morning, waking up with breath of life. The second thing is your senses. Are you able to see today? Are you able to smell today? Are your, right? Third thing, your body, your physical body. Are your limbs working? Are you walking around? Are you listening to this video right now? If you are, that's something to be grateful about. 4, you know what? Having your phone, right? That's something to be grateful for. And I think we should be grateful for things like that even more. We take our phone for granted because the moment we lose it, the moment we break it, we be like, oh my God, all hell broke loose, right? Time that we need to be calm. The 5th thing to be grateful for is wherever you woke up today. Did you wake up in a bed today? Because that's something to be very grateful for. Today, I've woken up in my own bed, in my own apartment, and sometimes we take those things for granted. But last year, when I was waking up around even the same time, I was waking up in a shelter. So I was grateful to have a bed to sleep in, but I was literally waking up in a shelter. So ground yourself in gratitude for everything, even the little things, right? For absolutely everything. And let that always be first to your body, right? Because the fact that our organs are working, our sight is working, our sense of smell is working, our limbs are working. Those are things to be grateful for. Now, some key points about gratitude is gratitude keeps your emotions stable. Gratitude transforms struggle, and gratitude reminds you of past victories. So gratitude is one of the greatest resilience tools we have. Not the fluffy kind. I'm talking about the real grounded gratitude that says, I may not like this moment, but I respect what it's teaching me. Gratitude keeps you steady. It keeps you connected to the truth, and that you've survived harder times before this one. You're not being broken, you're being refined. Like I said, last year, me and my son were unhoused. That's the pretty word for saying homeless, right? But seriously, we were in a shelter. A few months prior to that, was in a difficult situation abroad. So I challenge you to think of things that you overcame and be grateful for that, Grateful that you and your higher power and your ancestors and your spiritual counsel got you out of it. Ground yourself in gratitude, and also do a gratitude journal, right? Or a victory journal where you write down things that you overcame. Section 3, resilient people seek help and use resources. A few points to that. Strength isn't doing everything alone. Guidance, mentorship, tools, community. Turning experience into wisdom and wisdom into action. Here's the thing. A lot of people think resilience means doing everything alone. It does not. Resilient people are open. They seek help. They look for guidance, mentorship, tools, and community. Because wisdom doesn't come from suffering. Wisdom comes from reflecting, learning, asking, adjusting, and taking action. Strong people don't isolate. They evolve. Now, you're on this journey. So you already know that you have to be alone sometimes, but being alone out of discernment is not the same as isolation and isolating yourself and feeling like, everyone's trying to hurt me or use me or whatever the case is, right? You have to also know who to go to, right? You have to know what people to ask for help from, right? Which I feel like we all have a good grasp on that, right? And if you don't, start figuring that out. And also, I want to say to reach out to the community, to your local community for resources, because there's so much help out there. We've just been I'm going to be real with you. We've been so conditioned to only lean on people we know for help and guidance that we neglect people outside of us whom we don't know, who is extremely willing to help, right? For instance, when I was unhoused and homeless last year, that's when I learned that there's so much community support out there that I had never known about prior to being homeless, which I personally feel like that was one of the reasons I was meant to be homeless so that I could see with my own eyes, with my own experience, that there is help out there for everyone outside of people we know, outside of our family, outside of our relatives. And it's important that we, take those steps to learning and finding out what else is out there, because there's so many community service and community projects that are literally just out there trying to help you, whether that's giving you money or Christmas gifts or food for Thanksgiving. I mean, and so much. All right, section 4. Focus on the plan, not the disaster. A few points to that. Fear zooms in on the problem. Resilience zooms out to the big picture. The disaster is temporary. The mission is long-term. So, when adversity hits, most people get hypnotized by the disaster. But resilient people shift their focus. They say, what's the plan? What can I control? What is the end goal? You don't overcome storms by staring at the lightning. You overcome them by navigating the path. Your focus determines your strength. As we all know, on our sacred spiritual journey, whatever we think about and focus on is going to grow. So if you focus on that problem, what's going to happen? The problem is going to get bigger, right? And we have to have this warrior mindset, right? And get out of victimhood, as in, if something happens to me, not why me, but what can I learn from this situation? What is the lesson out of this? Because sometimes there's just a lesson, right? And when we do run into adversity, that doesn't mean stop, right? Maybe it means to rethink something, to go at it with a different approach. It never means stop, though. It never means drop the ball. It just means time to think of a new plan. Like those questions. What can I control? What's the new plan? What's the end goal? What am I learning from this? What am I missing? What didn't I see before that I'm gonna see now? It's just like, it's like those people, right? Have you ever been driving or something and something tells you go this other way, and you fight with yourself for a little bit? You're like, yeah, but I usually go this way. But you know your intuition is saying go this way, take a left today instead of busting that right. And you say, all right, I'm gonna make that left today. And then later you find out there was a huge car accident if you would have taken that right. I feel like that's what that is sometimes. When we have adversity sometimes, it's not the what did I do wrong or why is this happening to me? Sometimes it's just a reframe. Maybe we need to reframe something. Maybe we need to look at it from a different point of view. Or maybe there's something here that I hadn't noticed before that I have to notice. Section 5. Discomfort is the forge of strength. A few things to think about. Comfort equals stagnation. Discomfort equals growth. Emotional, mental, physical strengthening. Discomfort trains resilience. Okay, so comfort is beautiful sometimes, but comfort will rob you of your growth, time, potential, and preparation. Discomfort is where strength is built. It's where your emotional muscles develop. It's where your mental durability forms. It's where your spirit sharpens. The moment you stop running from discomfort is the moment you become unstoppable. It hurts. It's gonna hurt. But that doesn't mean we stop. We never stop when it hurts. Things hurt. It hurts when we get our hair done. It hurts when we exercise. It hurts when we give birth. It hurts when we wear new shoes. but we continue to work it on out anyway, right? So that's what we have to do. We have to continue to build our resilience through pain, through struggle, through hardship, because that is what is going to define us and make us better and turn us into the successful beings that we're seeking and working hard to be. Nothing grows in comfort.